11.91 kilometers of public country roads west of Belfast, closed for race meetings. Narrow, bumpy, blind apexes, sudden dips and drop-offs, roadside ditches. Very fast and very dangerous. That's how Jim Pearson describes Dundrod, one of his first track creations, or at least one of the early ones that received a lot of notoriety for Grand Prix legends. This track came out originally in 2004, and it's one of those that, I'll be honest, I never really tried very much. It was much beyond my skill level to do anything competitive at, and it's not a part of the race series that Grand Prix Legends covers, so it's one I did gloss over, but I'm happy to have come back to this. Jim Pearson has gone ahead and released a full graphical update for his 2004 creation in December 2020 here to bring it up to a standard which is very much the same as his Isle of Man circuit. And so now we have these two quintessential motorcycle circuits, or ones we think of today as motorcycle circuits, in Grand Prix Legends in amazing fidelity. So this track's been updated in a numerous amount of ways. He's changed the color palette, eliminated blocky corners, 16-bit textures all around, TV cameras, animations. The list goes on and on. Really just brings up the track to a modern standard, and not having experienced the original one too much, loading this up, I'm very impressed. It's really like you turn the corner from the Isle of Man circuit and now you're at another historic track. What is this track about? It's the home of the Ulster Grand Prix in Northern Ireland, which is one of the biggest open motorcycle races that there are around part of the Irish road racing scene. It did race sports cars back in the day, and I think there's some really interesting stuff. Just having done my 55 season in Formula One, this was part of the official 1955 World Sports Cars Championship. They raced the round immediately after Le Mans at Dundrod here. So they raced Le Mans in June, and then actually came to Dundrod in Ireland in September for the race. And it was the RAC Tourist Trophy. Leading up to the event, drivers were very vocal about the safety of the circuit, but the race went on, and unfortunately it proved to be just as disastrous as everybody was fearing it would be. The storyline, what brought many to the race, was to watch Fangio and Moss battle each other in the Mercedes 300 SLR for the overall win. But there were a lot of other very famous drivers from the time, and really Mike Hawthorne with the Jaguar. D-Type was the other major competitor in the race as well. Without going into too much detail, there were 3 fatal accidents during the race. 2 from one incident specifically where a car went off and crashed, and another car went off shortly after and crashed, and then one separate one as I believe it got darker and started to rain. And it was very tragic to happen so soon after Le Mans. There's quite a few folks out there that believe this, as well as Le Mans, led to Mercedes leaving motor racing at the end of the 55 season. So less of the doom and gloom. This circuit is part of the motorcycle racing scene today, and the Ulster Grand Prix is one of those highlight events along with the Isle of Man. So I want to take Jim Pearson's creation, go out, just do a spotting lap, maybe a slightly quicker lap. I will fully admit there's a lot of learning I got to do to be quick at this track. There's a lot of turns, a lot of blind corners, but I want to show folks just what the racetrack is like. I figured I would take the Mercedes 196. It's nothing like the Mercedes-Benz 300, but since we do not have that car in Grand Prix Legends, thought it might be fun, and I haven't driven it too much in Grand Prix Legends. So why don't we head out on the track? Alright, so we're in the 196. We'll pull away from the pit straight here under the bridge and head down, I think, the part of the circuit called the Flying Kilo. One of the quickest parts of the track. The whole track is very quick, and that's one of those things about these Irish road circuits, the Isle of Man included. The circuits are just so incredibly fast. You couple that with the fact that there's zero safety, even to this day, on these circuits, and these events are something else. But we'll head down what is really a flat-out part of the lap here, get our Mercedes up to speed. This will be a pretty slow lap. I just want to show the scenery off mostly. The cars be reaching max speed here and then come into the rock bends, which is a nice left and right section of the circuit. You can go quite quick through here, not a lot of braking needed, even in a car like this. Get her a little more up to speed, up to 4th gear. Now the rock bends continue on and head plunge downhill, and they'll end at Letham's Corner. This is one of the corners on the circuit which I believe is a bit different today. We'll come through, it's really a junction onto a street and then head down the hill here. Watched an awesome video with Guy Martin describing this part of the circuit, how the bike gets really light over it, having to actually use some of the rear brake on the bike to keep it straight. But now we'll head up the hill to one of the most challenging parts of the track, one of the most legendary parts of the track. This is the section known as Deer's Leap. So this starts off with right-hand corner here, and then another right-hander right at the top of this crest, put it down to 3rd gear. Heads us over the top of the hill to 2 quick drops, and at speed, we'll do a little quicker next lap around. At speed, the car will jump off the track, never mind a motorcycle, and really just plunges away. You can't see where you're going when you come around that corner. But now head under all the brush here down the hill. I believe this is Cochranstown. Corner can catch you out very easily. I believe that's the site of one of those accidents. But as you can see, Jim Pearson once again, I know this circuit has existed for a long time, but now brought back to life with these newer graphics. It's unbelievable the amount of care and dedication gone into this. I mention this on every GPL track review or look video I do because I know a lot of folks that don't race GPL will get a look at this for the first time, but this is not like developing for modern Sims and Unreal Engine where you have a lot of tools to help you place objects and things. There is a ton of troubleshooting, guesswork, and you know, essentially just putting things in place and seeing how it looks and then trying it again to get stuff to look this good for GPL. So hats off to Jim for all the work he does and really all the creators, but this is some unbelievable work. If you go look at videos of this circuit, this is so spot on, and to do it with the tools that we have is incredible. So we'll come through here to the top of the hill. I believe we're getting close. If not, this is Quarterlands, which is a very fast right-hander. And this will come to Ireland's Corner here on the left. Quick left-right. Work our Mercedes around. This Mercedes, such a nicely balanced car. I raced the Ferrari for my full 55 season, and I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't go with the Mercedes. It would have been a whole lot easier, let me tell you. But we'll work our way through a bunch of corners which really all kind of blend together, and when you're racing and you're kind of just waiting to spot that next marker that shows you where you are on the circuit. We'll come to the top then. I believe this is Wheeler's Corner. Could very easily go off straight there. I definitely have not done that before. But come around Wheeler's and head to really the first prominent left-handed corner on the circuit. There's a couple obviously, but this is a pretty tight left-hander which can catch you out as well. Put on a 3rd gear there. Coax it around the corner. Fans just sparsely on either side of the track. This is the type of racing event I would like going to, not having to be jam-packed. You can see the sea in the distance there, which is so awesome. Now we'll come to Lindsay Hairpin. This is right towards the end of the lap. The tight 180-degree hairpin corner really would lay the bike over in that one. And now we'll rocket towards the end of the lap, but we still have to go through what are known as the quarries, which is a series of left and right-handed corners, and head through some farm fields. Jim's gone ahead and placed sheep alongside the track. I love the look of that. It really makes you feel like you're driving somewhere. And that's one of these things about the older road circuits, is you have that sense of going. I think I mentioned that in the Isle of Man video. Brings a lot of magic to racing. But come through the quarries there. Just one significant corner left, Dawson's Bend, which which will then place us back on the front stretch. So I'm going to do one more lap, a little bit quicker, but it's definitely not going to be a fast lap. There's so much time to make up and learn around a circuit like this, but we're flat out in 5th gear, heading down the hill, the flying kilo, towards the rock bends, and ultimately Lethamstown corners, what I want to look out for. Let off the gas a bit down to 4th gear, pitch the car in. It's quite enjoyable driving a car around here, even if you're not going as quick as humanly possible. Let's come around this corner here, spot our entry into Lethamstown. You'd want a good exit out of here, as this is going to plunge you down the hill towards Deer's Leap, past our pit board man there. He's got the day off today. Up to 5th gear though, and this is just a high commit part of the circuit. It won't nearly do it justice as you would do in actual racing conditions. I'll go down to 4th for this, but you would fly through here. I want to show you just a little bit of what it's like to come over the top here. Over one hump, over two, and that's like 75% speed from what you would actually do in a real race around here. Such a cool part of the track. Making gradient changes like this in Grand Prix Legends is so hard to do. We'll come through there, like the Cochranstown, and head back up the hill. This is Quarterlands. Oh, don't run wide there. Right into the grass a little bit. And then Ireland's corner. 3rd gear, just nice and easy through there. Pretend like I didn't just run off the track a corner before. Back up to 5th, we'll head up the hill. The top of the hill. I believe one of these corners is known as Joey's Windmill. Not sure where the name would come from. I suspect there is a windmill somewhere. All that work on the little houses and things next to the circuit too. So impressive. But we'll look out for wheelers coming up. I believe right around this bend, if not a little further ahead. There we go, up to the top of the hill to wheelers, down to 2nd. Probably can end up doing this in 3rd gear. And now head towards the end of the lap. The left-hander coming up sticks out in my mind as one of the corners to watch out for on the circuit. Just nose it through. The hairpin right ahead here now. Come down to 2nd, come down to 1st. Roll it on through the corner. Now just the quarry bends with the quarries in front of us. With all the sheep next to the circuit. Wouldn't be Ireland without that, would it? So such a fun track. Jim always does an amazing job. This one's been out for a long time, but hopefully some new light shed into it with this graphical update. And pairs so nicely with the Isle of Man circuit. You almost want to make a road championship for Grand Prix Legends and race on some of these circuits. I don't know when it will come out, but I know there is work on a 1950s, maybe late 50s sports car mod, and that will be right at home at this circuit, along with the fantasy of a vintage bike racing sim someday. But I hope folks enjoyed that. It's just a quick look at the circuit. Maybe I'll come back at some point and do some actual quick laps. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time.